Sup buddy, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Rumbo, yay! And today is another draw with me. I'm going to be drawing more figure sketches in my little sketchbook, so if you want to sketch alongside me or study alongside me or anything, feel free to have this video on in the background. I'll also be chatting a bit and rambling on and on, but before we get into this video, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't know when next upload a video. I usually upload on Saturdays and now Wednesdays with these little draw slash art with me sessions, but you want to have my notifications turned on just in case so you never miss out another video from me. I am trying to make the goal of having 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2022 this year, so if you want to make my dream come true, please subscribe if you haven't already and share this with all your friends. I truly believe that we can make it. We're already past 750, which is incredible, so I know we're able to do this. Comment down below anything at all. Actually, if you are going to draw with me, comment down below what you're drawing with pen, pencil. So for this video, I'm going to be talking about drawing lol. I thought it was very fitting and also about the stance everyone can or can't draw, which I think everybody can draw, because whenever I come across someone who isn't an artist, or like one of my friends, relatives, aunts, uncles, anyone, and I tell them about doing art, or if they see my artwork and they're like, wow, it's so beautiful, I can never draw, and then I'm like, no, you can, anyone can draw, and they really don't believe me. And you might be looking at this or watching this and you might also not make art on the regular and think, I really can't draw to save my life or anything. And I really want to prove to you today that that is such a false thing to think of, and that I really truly think that everybody can draw, anyone and everybody can, and I'll tell you why, and it includes you. It really does include you. By the end of this video, I'm going to make sure that you're convinced that you can draw. I want you to test yourself, especially like I said, with relatives or friends who say they can't draw. It just seems like they think that is a talent or something that someone is just naturally born with, naturally gifted, which I mean, it makes sense, because especially if we learn in like schooling system, if we learn about like the famous like artists and like and absolutely magnificent works they've made, and it's just like on such a huge scale and they look like almost near to perfection, and just thinking, wow, like I don't know, all of those people, Monet, what's the person who painted the Sistine Chapel, but I'm forgetting all of those people, but anyway, they just were like naturally talented. They got a huge gift from God to just paint or create such magnificent, you know, it's just like an innate skill that someone is born with. It's just like by luck you were born with this natural talent to paint something or draw something. Even now to this day, that it's just like some people are good at it, some people aren't. It's just like, you know, you either are or you either aren't, and if you're not from the beginning, then that's it, you're not really an artist and you weren't destined to be. And at first I actually did believe this stance, because it's not just in art, it's in everything. Like when I was a kid, for the life of me, I just thought that like athletics, sports, all of that stuff was just like not for me, or like especially PE or anything. Maybe I tried sports along the way, but like being an athletic sporty person was just not who I was destined to be. Running was the bane of my existence. Like I usually like had heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching feelings whenever I had to run cross country at school, because I thought I was just not a runner, so why am I running? But the thing is, it's because I didn't train often or do a lot of sports to begin with, so of course I'm not going to be good at them. And I'm talking about like consistency, because if I like bring it back to art, I have been doing art for pretty much my whole life, so that's 20 years of experience in art. And like I know it starts off with like kitty art and scribbles that we all did, but I stuck with that, you know, in my entire life. Like I didn't drop pencils ever or coloring ever, or, you know, it just stuck with me. So technically I've had like 20 years of experience making art. That's a long time. Well, I know compared to other people it's not, like older people older than me, but 20 years is a long time, and in those times after making art constantly, I've obviously gotten much more better because I've been drawing not every single day, but you know what I mean, like for the majority of my life. And compare that to someone who hasn't. Of course, our skills will be different, but that doesn't necessarily mean I was quote unquote born with the natural talent of drawing or making art. Yes, it could be that I was just like born with more of a likeness to art and like creative stuff. That I can agree with. Some people are drawn to other things and some are drawn to like different things, but I still had a lot more experience drawing. So obviously a person who has never touched a pencil in their entire life and like drawn something, who is like a hugely successful gymnast, is not going to be talented at art. But likewise, I am not going to be any talented at gymnastics because I never have even been in a gymnasium before, you know? But it doesn't mean that I wouldn't be able to know how to do the basics of gymnastics had I started gymnastics practice. And likewise, the gymnast it doesn't mean that had the gymnast drawn a bit or had some classes that they wouldn't be able to draw some really cool pictures. You know, it takes consistency and practice. This was a thing that I learned. I've read it a bunch of times in my videos that I read this book, Mindset by Carol Dweck, sorry. And I generally believe that everybody should read this book because it was an eye-opener, to say the least. I don't really read a lot of self-help. I think I've only read 2 in my entire life, or a couple more, I actually don't remember. Because it talks about this thing called the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. I actually don't know. It's been a while since I read the book. But basically, it's this mindset that you have that you can do anything, or you can learn to do anything if you stick to practicing it or doing it consistently. And for example, like I said, I used to despise running for the life of me. Like literally every time I had to run, I really felt really anxious because I hated it so much. But when I started running like frequently by myself on my own free time, I got much more better at running. There was a time when like I could do, I can't remember, maybe 8K in an hour. And I really, like, looking back, I don't think that like I would have thought that was true had I not started running every day. And that's practice in itself. I did it consistently because, I mean, it's logic, but I think we forget that it happens in between. But doing something repeatedly will make you get better at it, and you'll improve on it. And especially if you do things repeatedly, but then you push yourself a bit more each time, then you're going to improve. Like, it's logical, it's just what happens. The rate at which you improve will differ from person to person, but it's inevitable that you will improve. And especially having that mindset that you will improve should you practice more and more will make you more enthusiastic to continue practicing, which will make you better. There's no like magic behind it at all. It's just really, you can draw anything. Just practice and find the resources to teach you. And those resources can be completely free. YouTube is your best friend. That's how I learned. YouTube and Pinterest. That's how I learned to figure draw. And especially in this video, I'm trying to push myself by doing a bit more dynamic poses, which I was struggling in the beginning with the first figure. But doing a figure pose, doing this dynamic posing will help me improve in drawing people in dynamic poses. So that in itself is improvement because I'm practicing it, you know? So yeah, there really isn't any magic behind it. I think it's because I'm not hanging out with that person 24/7, so they think I don't practice as much. And it's just like, it comes to me. I can just take a pencil and just wing bam boom, it's there. When in actuality, I've been drawing every single day. I've been improving every single day in my free time. And it's the same thing. Like, I used to think sporty people in university or school were just talented, like they were just born a runner and that's it. But you don't see behind the scenes that their parents make them go to outside school practice. They train after school every day, they run in their spare time, they practice with coaches outside of where you see them. Like there's so much behind the scenes that it really makes sense why they're so good at what they do, and likewise. So yeah, so you really can draw every day. Make the effort to sit down, and the thing is, you have to stick through the ugly, because obviously starting any skill, you're going to be horrendously terrible at it. You're going to suck so bad, and that's going to be the time when you feel demotivated. I feel like there's two periods in learning something that is quite demotivating, and it's the time when you're most vulnerable to stop learning the skill, and that's right at the beginning when you're really not good at it, but also when you plateau, so when you don't really see that much improvement later on, after you have gotten a lot of improvement. I feel like learning a skill is like on a curve, so in the beginning you're like right at the bottom, and then you get enthusiastic and you're learning so much more, and then you're improving so much, but you get to a plateau and it feels like, is that it? Is that really how far I could go? But it's not, you can always improve. So stick through those two. Yeah, I think it's just sticking it through and consistency, but we can all draw, paint, and all of that stuff. And I'm also making this video to myself because one of the things that I've always been terrified of is digital art, because I've tried it a couple times, and each time I've felt the resistance of not being familiar with it, and it not being something that I am used to or like I'm talented at per se. So I've always just like given up. And I've always been so impressed and in awe of digital artists, because it's like, that is one thing I can never do, and I'm so in awe of what you can do, because it's so freaking cool. But if I practice every day, which I know I'm not with digital art, I will improve. So this is me holding myself accountable. You know what? Next week for the draw with me, I'm gonna make it digital. Yeah, hold me to my word. Okay, next week feels so soon. Yeah, next week. And I'll improve there and then. But yeah, so that's all I want to say. I've been rambling a lot, but I hope this was an interesting way to look at developing skills. This is my 3 figure drawings. They were quite a challenge, I'm not going to lie, but I enjoyed them. They turned out pretty good. I'm pretty sure if I had to check the anatomy, they are a bit off, all of them, but you know what? It's been a while since I've done really dynamicer poses. That's not an English word, but I'll go with it. So I'm still kind of happy with the result, especially because it was just a... But thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, like it. If you like me, subscribe, comment down below, all that fun jazz, and I'll see you on Saturday.